Today we're going to replace the shutoff valve that controls the sprinkler system, the one that's on this inside the house, with one that is full port and therefore has a little drain port on it. The reason that the previous system failed in part was because the pipe froze when the water was somewhere between the shutoff valve inside the house and the shutoff valve outside, and the place that would be accessible to a compressor. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace that old shutoff valve with this ball valve that has the drain port. And make sure when you do this that you have everything that you could possibly need to get this done. In this house we have the PVC irrigation pipes, which is pretty common for use in sprinkler systems, and so we're going to need the appropriate PVC pipe to connect up, and I'm choosing to use a union in case there's ever anything wrong with that shutoff valve. I'll be able to remove it without screwing up the rest of the system. And I am planning to use a threaded nipple that's already there, but just in case something goes wrong, I have an extra nipple available. I have things lined up, I have them planned. I'm going to use the glue, make sure that that glue is still good and flowing, that you have a primer that is appropriate for that glue. I have a pipe cutter in case that doesn't work. I have something else that I can cut it with. I will use a putty knife to deburr if I need to, and I have sandpaper as well. So just everything, an overkill it may seem, but just be ready. The pipe I'm going to use is definitely going to be an overkill because it's rated for 480 psi, much more than what's needed here. The rest of the pipes inside the house are 250 psi or less, but that's just what I had available, so I'm just going to use that. So here we are in the basement looking at the old shutoff valve, and I'm going to cut it right here on this side, and I will undo the other side. I will unscrew that valve. Make sure that before you do the first cut that your valve is closed so you don't have water coming out of both ends. Here I'm just going to use this pipe cutter to cut the pipe, and very carefully doing so. I'm going to have to put down the camera so I can use both hands, make sure I don't have a little accident here. So here I made a pretty clean cut and not that much water came out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let out the water out of the other side by opening up this valve just slowly. Make sure that I don't have too much stuff in there that wants to come out, and once I'm done with that, I can just undo the other side and replace this valve. So here I was telling you to be ready and have all the tools that you may possibly need, and of course I forgot something. The 2 wrenches, which is what I needed to disconnect the old shutoff from the nipple in order to try to save myself some work and to save that nipple. I was able to, of course, do that successfully here's the old shutoff valve. As you can tell, it was unscrewed from the nipple. As I was doing that, I also noticed that there was an offset in the pipe, so it wasn't installed quite properly, and so I'll need these 90-degree connectors that I'll be gluing in to make sure that there's not a stress on the pipe. So here you can see that I was able to save the threaded nipple on the one side of the pipe, which is what I was planning to do, but unfortunately I'm still going to have to cut it off because there is an offset here, and to properly pipe this I will need to put in those 90-degree elbows. Okay, so here I have prepared all of my pieces of pipe that are going to go in to replace the previous installation. So I've cut the 3 pieces of short pipe. There's 2 elbows, the 2 nipples, the ball valve, and the union, and I've taken the union apart to show that the part with the rubber seal is going to go on the inside, so that it would be easier to take out if that seal ever goes bad. So everything is thought out and prepared. Next thing I'm going to do is glue the pieces together. I've already tried the dry fit and looks pretty good, so I'm going to glue them together and then use Teflon to put in the nipples onto the ball valve. So now that we've got the complete assembly, we can dry fit it to the outside pipe first and see where the inside pipe needs to be cut so that it fits perfectly. So we'll dry fit it like that first, and then mark here, cut, and glue that piece. And we'll be doing this in pieces, since that's a union. We'll be able to take and glue just the outside part of it and then attach the rest of it. Okay, now the entire assembly is in place. What we had to do to put it in is to take the union apart and glue in the side of the union that goes to the wall. Then the union via the screw-in nipple was detached from the ball valve. The ball valve was also disconnected from the other nipple that goes to the two elbows. That part of the assembly was glued in separately, and then the ball valve was again reattached to the two nipples using Teflon tape and reconnected the union to make the assembly complete. So now it's all done, and all that's left to do is hope and pray. And if anything is wrong, the part of the assembly that leaks has to be completely reassembled. So there we go.